Hello, everyone. Josi Jensen here with the Brilliant Wonders podcast, where we talk lifestyle, we talk real life in general, real conversations, and just, you know, talk about regulated living in an unregulated world, right? We are, if we're trying to live regulated, we probably aren't the norm. We may be living outside of the box a little bit different than others. And it takes that because I think my nervous system is very different than your nervous system. So, what it takes for me to be regulated might be very different than what it takes for you to be regulated. However, the same principles are at play when it comes to the foundational pieces of health and wellness. So, yeah, I love having these conversations because it's just like in everything that we do, in everything that we are trying to, attain for, we're trying to like build our life around. We push into like this stress in a way, or like the resistance a little bit. We push into that to grow. Yet, if we go too far or stay in it too long, then we start to break down. So there's like this fine line, and we talk about that in health a bunch, where there isn't just like this linear path to health and wellness, or the linear path to the last dying breath that we have on this earth. There's not like this, it's not a straight line. It's up and down, and riding the roller coasters, and enjoying the ride, the difficult down spirals, and the successful, what we consider feeling success, right? Like these upward climbs, and or being at the top of the mountain and then realizing that you come back down a little bit, and then you go back up, and then you come back down, and then you go back up, and like how to ride that, those waves, and still be able to, I don't know, have grace with it, compassion with it, love with it, to try not to hide from the gross stuff, right? The things that maybe we don't want to share with others, which you don't have to share with others. I think that's a big piece too, like the authenticity of it. Yet it's wisdom, like gaining wisdom along the way, and if we aren't present for it and experiencing it, the wisdom is pretty tough to grab a hold of. I can't even remember where it's at in the Bible. I think it's Proverbs, but I'm not sure where there's a whole section, or Psalms, one of those two, where there's all this talk about wisdom in general. And it's just like, yeah, this is what we're here for. So anyway, there's a little rant already. Wasn't even planning on going that way, but here we are. This brilliant life that we're living in, and being able to be part of, and thankful and grateful, and all the things. And I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful that I have a platform that I can share my thoughts with, and what's going on in this deep mind of mine. I am a deep person, and not everyone wants to go there, and they don't need to. But what was I was actually talking to my brother maybe about this. Anyway, it's about like college days, and I remember being in some philosophy courses, but I just wanted to pass those. Like I did not dive deep into philosophy. Oops, sorry about that. Anyone else getting just tons of calls from like government politician type stuff? I am ready for that to be done. Ready for the voting to be over with, so that we can get on with our lives. Okay, not going down that route. Other than I don't appreciate all of the messages, I really don't. Okay, so what was I talking about? Where was I at? Oh, philosophy in school and college. So I was in a ton of science classes. It took a lot of time And I put a lot of focus on my science stuff, right? Like it's what I really wanted to be good at. And so when it came to philosophy, I just wanted to pass those classes and do it, get good enough, short-term memory, put it in there, and then I let it go, right? So we're talking like Aristotle, Descartes was somebody that I remember reading about. I'm sure we had way more than that, but those are just a couple of names that I can recall. And then I think we read the Iliad or Iliad, some different things like that. And it was all philosophy. But what I find now is how much I love philosophy, because if we don't have this philosophy, that we're working out of, almost like this paradigm, or like these truths, or like trying to find these truths, um, if we don't have that, it's really hard to grab on to what we want in our lives, right? It's like, I was having this conversation with my grandma, and she needs to drink water. She is 80 some years old, 82, 83 maybe, and she does not like to drink water and never has. Yet, what she hears from people like her doctors and me and probably her kids, and to drink this water, and she sees it on social, and she's like, you need to drink, this much water. But there's no emotional tie to it. And she was wanting to do some different brain health stuff. And I said, Grandma, the reason that you need to drink the water is something deeper. I said, you have to attach that drinking the water with like being able to get on the ground and still play with your grandkids at 80 years old. And she can. She does this stuff. It's just, she's very active. However, she does not drink the water, which is really hard on her brain, right? Not even everything else. Like it's hard on every tissue of your body if you're not drinking water. It's one of the foundational pieces of living. So you got to drink your water, but you can't, like if I just tell somebody to do it and we don't have an emotional tie to it, then it's probably not going to stick. Like this, not even a habit. It's like, this is life, is you are made of water and you need to drink your water. Like that's just, it's part of it. But when you're told to do something, even if you know it's really good for you, when you're just told to do it because I said so, for me, that instantly puts like, you said so, and I don't like that. Maybe it's having some authority issues or something along those lines. That's a deeper dive, right? But for the most part, like when we think of these philosophies that we have within ourselves that we believe, then we have something that we're making opinions based off of. When we have this deep philosophy of something, or deep foundation of something, like I am making my decisions based off of this piece, right? And I think philosophy just starts opening up your mind to what all could be. And it can be scary, but it can also like lead you down rabbit holes. It can completely debunk what you've been thinking your whole life, or it can really affirm what you've been thinking of your whole life. I remember going to chiropractic school, and I had this like deep feeling of maybe why we use ibuprofen. And it always kind of confused me on medications, or even like over the counter stuff. Not saying I didn't take anything, because I did. We were a house of, Dayquil, NyQuil, ibuprofen, Tylenol, like all the things. But it never, I didn't like lean towards it. Like when someone, like girls in the locker room, right? Like we would get done with practice or whatever, and like, I need some ibuprofen, I've got a headache, or I need some ibuprofen, my shoulder hurts or something. I never, like, I wasn't that person. It's not that I just didn't get it. It didn't make sense to me. It's like, yeah, you're sore, or I'm sore because I did this. But if I, take ibuprofen for it, like it was like, it doesn't make it go away per se. Like I didn't understand it. And yet this was, 16-year-old me. So it was interesting. I went all the way through school. I remember going through human biology, and there was we were in genetics, and we started talking about mutations and what caused a mutation, which then caused cancer, and like all these things. And I'm like, well, why aren't we just keeping that not letting the mutation happen. Instead, we were like everything that we talked about in school, we talked about what to do once the mutation already happened, and then we have a disease. Anyway, so my mind has always been a little bit different, but I didn't ask the questions. I was not very assertive in that. I didn't want to. I don't know. I didn't like asking. I just didn't like asking questions in the first place, because first it made me feel like I was thinking something wrong. There was just a lot of stuff around that, but it all came full circle. So thankfully, I became a chiropractor, and when I started studying philosophy in chiropractic and what they the power that made the body heals the body, and all these different things that are going on within the body, and what's lacking, and what happens and due to lack, and what happens due to excess, and like limitations of matter. Anyway, it was full of philosophy. Chiropractic really is, especially in the beginning, and hopefully coming back around. But it's what I could like hold on to, like this premise of what health was, what our bodies really are, and these things. And it became very important that I held on to that and kept working, as that's my foundation. So anything that I would do chiropractic wise, whether it was continuing education or moving along, with different chiropractors, maybe like mentorships, or even like supplement companies. That's a big one, right? Like I get asked to check out all these supplements all of the time, patches and different technologies and all the things. And in order for me to be a supporter of it, I have to understand on a cellular level what's going on, because I believe that the body is very powerful, and we are our best healers. Nothing else is. No one else and nothing else from the external is as powerful of a healer as we are. I'm not saying that none of that stuff works for a time, but we have to like for me, it feels better to support things that are improving our function of the body internally, like affecting us internally. Okay. So anyway, that's a philosophy of mine, and it has helped me really. And I'm not saying my philosophy can't ever change. We see that in the medical world very often. Look at how many people, how many doctors have written books based off what they learned in the medical world, and then how they started shifting their thoughts on healing and health and longevity and things, and their philosophies changed. They had a change in philosophy. Same thing with people coming in for chiropractic care, and they're just wanting their pain to go away. Yet when they come in to my office to do that, like that's what their goal is. That is me like acting as an ibuprofen, right? Not getting rid of the cause. So in order for big changes to happen, the changes that people are wanting to do, they're needing to shift philosophies, shift paradigms, and what health truly is, which is not easy to necessarily do, because that's a foundational piece of truth and thoughts and what they're living by, right? So when you start shifting paradigms, there's a lot of stuff that starts to change, and then people, some people can move over to a different paradigm, and some people can't, and there's nothing wrong with either one. I'm just know that this philosophy, these foundational pieces of why you do the things that you do, is so important when it comes to really anything lifestyle wise, whether it's relationships, whether it's finances, whether it's, the health of my body, my mindset, my community, my, what else? What am I missing here? Spirituality, really any of these things. If we don't have a solid philosophy on it, then, or are attaining some truth to it, we can be kind of swayed every which direction. I mean, you can have all this social media stuff come across, and you're like, I can get on board with that. I can get on board with that. I can get on board with that. Or you're like, nope, I don't like to see that. I won't ever see that. Nope, nope, nope. But actually, if you're not liking what you're seeing, usually Facebook changes to what you like seeing, and then it'll sell you on something else, right? Sell you on what you like. So that's just that is our world that we live in. So it is so important to have this discernment, this truth of yours, and understanding what it means to you. Not meaning that you need to know all the things. You don't need to know everything, but but knowing your foundational truths of health and well-being, or I just say that because that's what I teach, right? But knowing your truth about finances. What is your truth? What is your relationship with your finances? What is your relationship with your husband? What are marriages looking like for you? What do they mean to you? Not to anyone else, like to you. What does it take for you to have a healthy relationship? Not what anyone else is telling you it takes. What does it take for you? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? That is a really hard and intention filled conversation with yourself. And that is the most important conversation that you're having, is with yourself, not with others as much. Like, have it with yourself first. What do you need? How can you get what you need? And then move forward. I I wrote my newsletter this week about June, the month of June, because it's June 1st today as I'm recording this. And I just wrote my newsletter before I hopped on here. And it was about what can change in 30 days, because so much can change with consistency. And usually people are going to say something like this: I want to be in shape. I want to see my bicep in 30 days, right? I want to be able to maybe run 5 miles or run 1 mile in 30 days, right? There's so much physical pieces to this. And I see people fail at it over and over and over again, including myself. Okay. I'm a great testament to this. I am type B in a lot of ways. What I mean by that is routines are not really my thing. Consistency, turns out people tell me all the time that you're very disciplined or you're a very consistent person, which is, I think, awesome. But I would not, knowing my brain or what's going on in my brain and in my heart, I feel like I'm all over the place pretty often. But I do have non-negotiables that are very consistent for me. And it may not be the typical non-negotiables for others. It's my non-negotiables. It is something that I don't like, that I find in order for me to function in my day-to-day life and keep growing and doing the things I do. These are the things that always need to happen. And no, I don't do it like, somebody who's super type A may have like it perfectly scheduled out in their day. This is what we do every day at 9 a.m. This is what, I'm not that person. I do have a very structured mornings. However, they can be shifted and changed, and adapted depending on what my day looks like. But for the most part, I do the same things every morning. But those are non-negotiables. Okay, and here's why they're non-negotiables, is because at one point in my life, I was so emotionally tied to this changing. And now I can't even tell you what emotion or what I was trying to attain at the time of when I made these non-negotiables, because it's been so long, but there is an emotional tie to them. And it has to do with character, or like being a consistent person, showing up every day for other people, or whatever it is. I don't remember how this all started, why these habits became my thing. But they're non-negotiables, but there was an emotional tie to them, and they've stood the test of time because there is an emotional tie to them. That's something that I want you to think about when you think about, hey, I want June to look differently. I have 30 days. What am I going to consistently show up as so that in these next 30 days I'm different? And I gave the example of money because, man, I had a really, really hard relationship with money, with finances. Gosh, for most of my life, you guys. And it wasn't that I didn't have any money. There was times that I didn't have any money for sure, but it was always like a spending, like undeserving, unworthy to spend the money. I don't know. It was just a really not a good relationship. And I felt like I never had enough. I needed to hoard it. All of a sudden, I had to spend a bunch of it. And it felt like somebody was ripping it out of my hands, right? Like, um, I had dreams that I was seeing patients, and then all of a sudden, nobody would come see me anymore, right? And there's two, I mean, that's an energetic deal, but I had a really hard time trusting that there was enough money for me, that there was enough money for me to have food, to have a house, to yeah, to be a good doctor, to whatever. Like I had a really hard time with it. And it took a while to change that, but there was a point where I remember walking, so that I have like this memory of me walking, and I was reading a book, something about your relationship with money, and it said something to the extent of living out of lack and what that's going to do to you. And they talked about you will no longer say, I am broke. I said that all the time. I always said I was broke. Well, I'm broke, even if it was like to buy a Snicker bar, like, right? Like it was, as soon as I had to spend money, I felt like I was spending money on something that I shouldn't be spending money on, even when it was like something to eat or, something I needed or something I was really proud of. I still felt like a really crappy thing around it. So I started changing my mindset around money and finished that book, and started really just saying thank you a bunch, and to money going in, money going out. And I started paying attention to my bank accounts. I was somebody who just hid from my bank accounts. I didn't even want to look at them. So within a month, I'm not even kidding you, within a month, I had changed nothing other than just looking at my money, and I had a savings account by the end of $1,000, and that was because Dave, not Dave Ramsey, yeah, is it Dave Ramsey? Yeah, I think it is. Ramsey, anyway. I know his last name. I get them mixed up with all the different people these days, but anyway, he said you needed $1,000 emergency fund. So I did. I saved enough for that to happen within a very short period of time, within the month. And then it just kind of kept growing from there, where I developed new strategies to make more money, or to actually profit more, is what I was going off of. And it was hard. There was a lot of uncomfortable conversations. There was a lot of compromises. But here's the deal: is I knew this strategy would work. I needed to have a different relationship with money. I knew there'd always be enough. And this strategy gave me enough every time. Like I profited every time. So I was like, okay, this all is going to work out. And I did within a year. Well, actually, within 3 months, I was able to pay off a debt to my brother, which was huge. And then within a year, I started to have a retirement account, and able to, put money towards that. But granted, I had to do some hard things in the beginning. And what's funny is I started to even like love my tax appointments, because I was able to see the changes and see things shift. And even, I mean, I did not care about paying taxes anymore. And I still don't. When people are like really freaking out about taxes, I don't have to worry about that, because I have a strategy that works, that I always have enough money to pay the taxes. But at the same time, I am able to see when to use money a certain way, and it grows me. I love talking money now. Um, I don't love doing math, turns out, but I love talking about the energy of money. So that was it started with 30 days, you guys. Now, did all this happen in 30 days? No, but it was like so quickly that things started to shift and change. But I had an emotional tie to it. That mentality I had around money was completely shutting me down. It was not letting me get anywhere. Even if I could make a lot of money, it just nothing ever felt good. I was not an abundant person. So I shifted more my mindset than anything, and then I developed a strategy, or actually I read about a strategy, we shifted a little bit, but for the most part, this strategy that worked for me, and that all came into my hand. That strategy was seriously laid in my lap because I was starting to feel abundant, right? Like I was looking and grasping for things that were going to make this life, this abundant life that I was so emotionally attached to having. I When people told me that they like, oh, I guess I never really think about money. I'm just so excited to have this pair of shoes. I'm so excited for that. Or, like people did not live like me and I wanted to be like them. So that is what I did. And I started with honestly just the first consistency of 30 days. And it did not deal with making more money per se. It was about changing my mindset around it. So what do you want these next 30 days? Do you want to learn a song on a guitar? Do you want to pick up a new instrument? Do you want to paint a picture? Do you want to spend the next month like really just bringing out the like painting or hobbies or crafts or whatever? Do you want to save $500 this next month? Do you want to start building an online influencer business? Do you want to run that 5K at the end of the month? Do you want to be able to go from 0 push-ups to doing 10 push-ups? I don't care what it is, but what is the emotional tie to what you're doing? And is there a philosophical belief, or even like a belief in a good way, or a limiting belief that's keeping you from being the person that you want to be? These are the hard conversations that you have to go inside and really see what's going on here. What is it that I am really struggling with feeling good in my day-to-day? I'm not saying every day is like a 10 out of 10. That's not it. But what is something that's really seems to hold you back? I start talking about, I told you I'm more type B, right? I do have a lot of scheduled meetings and things like that. And if I start thinking too far ahead, instantly, it happened last night. I was on a walk and instantly my right shoulder started to creep up to my right ear. And I'm like, oh, there it comes again. And I have been able to pinpoint to what it is. And it's like it's a bit of overwhelm and a bit of control, because what I was wanting to do, I overexceeded. I overexceeded my capacity of controlling. And what I mean by that is I was supposed to be in Spain right now, you guys. Or actually, it was Portugal. I was flying to Spain, going to Portugal, and I was going to do this Camino de Santiago, which is still on my bucket list, still something I'm going to do, but the timing just wasn't quite right. And I'm very happy I made this decision. But I do think my body was really wanting to walk consistently for a long period of time. And I've been kind of training up to this anyway. So last night I was like, you know what? Why don't you just practically do the Camino from home? So walk 150 miles in 14 days and let's do that. And I started planning it out and doing all the things. And my right shoulder just kept creeping up and up and up and up. And I'm like, oh gosh, okay, I went too far. I went too far in planning everything and just making it be a certain way, right? For me, that is what I know. So just pay attention to that. Like, why why would you be having a trigger response to something? Are you over planning, under planning? Do you feel too scattered? Do you feel too routined? These things are huge for your nervous system, to let it be free and actually start to shift and change. Can I start planning? Do I want to start planning more of my life? No, I don't. This is not the point for me. This is not why That's not part of my lifestyle, is to have these, hour to hour, actually, before it was 10-minute increments of my day completely planned for me. It's not like that anymore. I need some more space in my nervous system. So as I was starting to do this, I was like, oh, nope, this is not going to work for me. I cannot do that. I need to relax. I need to settle that back down. I need to take some things off my plate and let things flow. And it does get better. I do want to push it, but I don't want to push it too far. Remember that. Like I found my capacity. We've hit it. I hear you. And back off just a little bit and breathe through it so that we can start to change and shift my capacity of handling a lot on my plate, right? And some people would say you have a lot of things on your plate. And here I'm thinking, I do have a lot of things on my plate, but I actually do want a few more. How can I handle all this and still feel free in my nervous system, right? So some takeaways for today. One is your philosophy, like finding your foundational truths and make decisions and discern what is right for you based off of you and not what other people are saying. Does it feel right? Use your intuition a little bit. It takes being in regulation, though, to be able to do that well. So create safety in your body first. And if you have any questions on that, like jump on my website, listen to more podcasts of mine. Like we talk about this. But we want this safety in our body so that we can actually feel what is truthful and right for us. And being able to communicate like how that changes. Second, 30 days, you guys, 1 month. So much can change in 1 month with consistency and compound interest, okay? I gave a finance example for that. There's a reason. Compound interest is real, and it's real in health as well. So just trust the process of that, and trust that once you are aligned with your philosophy and what it is you're wanting to attain, that is when the magic is going to happen and things will actually start to shift for you in a positive way. Actually, is there anything negative anymore? Like when you really think about it, like if you're living out of alignment, there's really not a lot that can it can be hurt, it can be sticky, it can be painful, but it's like that was just the path that needed to happen, and it is what it is, and we grow from it. We just are going to grow from it. So aligned living looks like that. Regulated living, I kind of use those terms interchangeably, but yeah, those are the 3 things. First off, understand your philosophy. Second off, make sure you have an emotional tie to who you're wanting to be, and that 30 days, honestly, of consistency can really shift you. And then let's just make things happen. Let's make things shift and change in the direction that you want it to go. I am very thankful that you're here. I do want to give one little announcement. Next week on June 9th and June 13th, I'll share the link here, but there's a webinar. I'm coaching with Dr. Clint Steele. He is a mentor of mine, and then I'm starting to coach with him, and we're doing a group coaching program. So it's 90 days, and we meet every week and we go through a better brain health protocol, practically, where we're looking at memory, so dementia. We're also looking at insomnia, anxiety, any of these kind of things that are popping up in your life. We're going to shift that in 90 days. And so if you would like to click on the link that I'm going to provide, and you'll be able to access the webinars and register for them. There is a replay, or our replays, I'll say, because we are doing 2 webinars. So if you can't make it live, then you can hop on the replay and see what we're all about. But if you're wanting to make drastic change in 90 days, like, this is it. I've been through the program or watching as people are completing the program and seeing how things are shifting for them, and it's really been absolutely amazing to see. Okay, thanks everyone for hanging with me on this episode, and we will catch you next time.